Hi there, Serial Trader here. Let's check in with Bitcoin as we've had a nice significant move up since the last video I did. And actually the last video I did, I believe it was sometime in February. And we had just, looks like around February 8th, we had just put in this bottom here, which at the time I was considering to be either wave 2 or wave B. And again, the kind of idea was that we may have had a major, large degree wave 4 in place here at the December low, which on this Bitfinex chart was at 3215.2, although depending on what exchange you're looking at, the numbers are somewhat different, but within a fairly close number to that should match up to whatever exchange you deal with. And from that low, we had an impulse wave off the bottom for either a 1 or A. We had this correction down for either a 2 or a B, and we were expecting at least one more wave up in what would either be a wave 3 of a still developing larger impulse wave, or just a wave C for an ABC up and then down again. And now I think at this point it's pretty clear that it's not a wave C, as we've so this is the equality relationship between what would have been A or B. That would have come in at 4574.1, so we've blasted through that on huge volume here. And also this parallel trend channel, this base channel, which if it was a C wave, you would have expected that to kind of contain the move for the C wave. Well, we've broken through that upper boundary line quite nicely on that channel. So that's basically visual confirmation that we have a third wave in progress. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the ABC labels here and just now be more confident that we have an impulse wave in development, a large degree one at that, and likely the first major impulse wave of a much larger impulsive structure that will eventually get us back above the old highs, close to 20,000, but one step at a time. So yeah, just to recap, nice one up, two down, three in progress. I'll get rid of the inequality relationship since we've blasted through that. And you can see in this wave 3, looks like we maybe have a 1 up, a 2 down of 3, and then maybe it's going to be a fairly extended wave 3 and maybe a series of 1s and 2s to the upside. And now we're getting that explosion in that multiple degree third wave up. And if that's the right interpretation, we should also have a series of fourth and fifth waves of multiple degrees before we really find that wave 3 peak. So I like the idea that wave 3 is certainly not done here as it stands, even though we've had a nice move up. The 1,618 relationship to 1 would bring us to 52.96, so about 5,300. If we get to the 2.0 relationships, where wave 3 equals twice the distance traveled in wave 1, that get us to around 57.42. Close to 57.50. But what I'll be watching for is just, looking for little pullbacks and then impulse waves, pullbacks, impulse waves. So we should see several wave 4 and wave 5 subwaves to match these little 1s and 2s we had. And eventually we should get some sort of wave 4 pullback, larger degree. And that'll be another nice setup for a fifth wave. And again, this is early in a new impulse wave, so this structure could certainly develop differently, but this is just kind of a common way to assume it would develop. So I believe in the last video I mentioned that I got some entries in there in the 3,600 range. Still holding those. At this point, very comfortable. And I plan on, since this could be the beginning of a major new crypto bull market, certainly looking... early signs here are quite promising. I'm just going to leave a stop loss above break even on those and let this thing ride if it wants to. Once this thing really gets going, it's pretty hard to outperform just holding when you start getting these massive moves that we've certainly experienced in the past. For instance, the run that we saw in 2017, right? Now on the daily RSI, I like that we've gotten very overbought here. That's actually a bullish sign when you're this early on in a new trend. Got well into the high 80s here on RSI. And I wouldn't let that discourage you. And in fact, it's quite encouraging because he broke that kind of RSI bear market resistance level, which would have been around that 50 or 60 level. And in fact, we actually broke that here on this one of three up, got into the 70s there. But this is quite promising to see this get nice and overbought, very impulsive, and there could certainly be some shorter term consolidation after a move like this, but I expect higher highs and higher lows to follow, likely for quite some time. So I decided to do an update on Bitcoin, and eventual targets. I mean, this entire pattern from the top is a corrective pattern that now appears to be complete, and eventually will be more than fully retraced. So we're eventually looking to get above the all-time high, and again, that'll depend on which exchange you're looking at. But on Bitfinex, that's 19,891, so right around 20,000 to round up. And I don't know exactly when we'll get there, but if you look in the past, once these uptrends get going, I mean, it can have quite the run. I mean, this thing isn't going to get away on you. There's still going to be lots of pullbacks along the way and trade setups, but to me, even buying here with a longer term view, despite being short term overbought here, certainly you're still getting in at a very low price compared to where the overall trend will likely go to. So I just decided to let you know. Certainly nice follow through from the last video, and price is cooperating. And I guess we'll check in again maybe once we have something more complete to the upside as far as counting a clean 5 waves up. And that might be a good opportunity to take some profit and wait for another pullback. Say we finish this third wave, get our fourth, go up in a fifth, start looking topped out, and then we're expecting maybe a larger pullback. If this is going to be a larger one and then two down, that might be a time to do an update. But yeah, for now I'll leave it there. Certainly looks like we're off to the races finally, after waiting for quite some time. All right, Serial Trader signing off.